Deuces and peace to you guys. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. I want to read for you a piece of scripture before I go into the boxing. No, I go. Psalms 119, verse 1 says, Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, that seek him with a whole heart. They do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. You have commanded us to keep your precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep your statutes. Then I should not be ashamed when I have respect unto all your commands. I'll praise you with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned your righteous judgments. I will keep your statutes, oh, forsake me not utterly. Now, these words clearly are not said by us because we can't just do that. You know, a lot of people think you can just do this. No, no, no. God puts it within you to be able to do it. Only his spirit can allow you to do that. And then you can say it definitively, like how it was said in the psalm. But to me, the most important thing is that you're walking in the ways of God. How he behaves is correct. To me, that's the awesome thing about it. So that leads me to a hymn, hymn number 50. I want to sing it for you. It's called Abide With Me. And it goes like this. Abide with me, fast falls the evening tide. The darkness deepens. Lord, with me abide. When other helpers fail and comforts flee, help of the helpless, oh, abide with me. Swift to its close ebbs out life's little day. Earth's joys grow dim, its glories pass away. Change and decay in all around I see. Oh, you who don't change, abide with me. I need your presence every passing hour. Second two. What but your grace can foil the tempter's power? Who like yourself my guide and stay can be? Through cloud and sunshine, oh, abide with me. I fear no foe, with you at hand to bless. Ills have no weight and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where grave your victory? I triumph still if you abide with me. I triumph still if you abide with me. Yes, sir. This was a song written in 1861 by William H. Monk, Larry F. Light wrote the lyrics to the song in 1847. Sorry. No. Harry F. Light wrote the music in 1847, and Monk wrote the lyrics in 1861. Abide with me. And honestly, if you have the Lord abiding with you, then you will bring glory to his name, because you'll be walking with him day in, day out, as the scripture says. And it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to talk about boxing. Dimitry Bivol versus Jean Pascal. I first want to start by saying a lot of what I hear people saying on the internet concerning it, even from the major boxing channels, disappoints me, because these people teach me very quickly that they don't understand what's going on in that squared circle. I'm not sure if they depend on the commenters and the commentators to understand the action that they're watching, but there's a lot of people who just don't understand boxing. They don't know what they're looking at. And it's sad, because that was one of the most intriguing matches I've seen in a long time. There was chess being played out there. So we're going to break down that fight for you guys. And I'm going to tell you what I thought about it. And to me, the veteran Jean Pascal really impressed me. He did a number of different things in that ring. He changed it up. Almost every round, he was doing something new and different. Dimitry Bivol was very careful. He was really monitoring, again, range, and very careful after Jean Pascal did a certain thing to him. Before that, he was walking down Pascal, but the fight kind of changed once Pascal sprang the trap on Bivol, and then Bivol tried to fight back. It was a very interesting fight. And so that's why I'm going to break it down for you guys, because I think a lot of you don't know what you were looking at. So in the beginning of the fight, Jean Pascal, first and foremost, was going to the body of Dimitry Bivol. He would use the jab to the pit. There was a lot of things that Mayweather used that Pascal was using. And I thought it was beautiful. Pascal gave different looks. He went from low to high. He started to throw the leaping left hook. In fact, he was the first guy, I think, to throw a punch in the whole fight. He threw leaping left hooks, and he threw the jab to the pit. So he was mixing it up. He was going to Bivol's head exclusively for the first 2 rounds. Bivol, on the other hand, was scoring with the jab. His most consistent punch in the whole entire fight was the jab. He would follow it up with a 2. Now, I listened to some guys on some other channels discussing how Bivol looked one-dimensional and how he wasn't attacking at different angles. He was doing different things. You know why that was happening, ladies and gentlemen? Jean Pascal took away Bivol's major attacking array of punches, and Jean Pascal cut off the angle at which Bivol could approach him. And I don't know if you guys understand what virtual distance is. I don't know if you guys understand what is where your body is actually in a different plane. But Jean Pascal was doing a number of different guards. He used the high guard leaning in. He used the high guard standing up. He used the high guard protecting his body. He also used the Philly shell. He would actually be using virtual distance, where he looked like he was further away from Bivol. Bivol would try to inch in on him to get some shots in, some jabs and stuff. Most of the shots that Bivol threw on Jean Pascal were blocked. I was really amazed with Jean Pascal's defense. I thought he was reaching in with a lot of punches, leaping in, reaching in, and Bivol could have took that opportunity to counterpunch him. But I guess, again, the angle at which Jean Pascal would, the angle of entry, and in between certain shots that Bivol would throw, Jean Pascal would actually go in. His timing was pretty good. Accuracy was not so much. But when Pascal exploded, I think it was in the 9th or 10th round. I think it was the 9th round. He just exploded on Bivol and landed a combination of punches. That's when the trap was sprung. He tried different things. Pascal tried different things. He even walked down Bivol at a certain point, showing who he really was. And he was like, oh, come on, bring it. And he started walking down Bivol. So there were different things Pascal was doing in that ring that told me, look how skillful this guy is. And all the time, the commentators are really bad talking the guy. At first, Pascal was throwing some wild, really wild arm punches. But as the fight progressed, we saw that his strategy was to try and dope Bivol into coming in. So Bivol would be throwing these jabs, 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 trying to throw the lead right, jab, jab, jab. And Pascal started to grin behind it. People thought Pascal was hurt. He wasn't hurt. The fact was that he was trying to trick Bivol into throwing punches at him. And then when Bivol committed to a punch, he would go in between the punch and counterpunch Bivol and then work his body and go up to his head. He was also throwing these huge looping rights over the top of Bivol, and he caught him once or twice on the head with it. And Bivol did not like it. Okay, and Bivol was very, very cautious now coming in on Pascal because of that. At first, he was not having any respect for Pascal. He had a lot of hand speed, through a lot of combinations and stuff. But at the end of the day, Pascal had a really good defense, and he started walking Bivol down. So a lot of people didn't understand that. Now, people, why they're talking about Bivol wasn't very impressive is because they don't understand that Pascal has improved so much more. Like if Sergey Kovalev was to face Jean Pascal now, I'd knock him out. But Pascal, a lot of things people don't understand about Pascal. Pascal was a wilder fighter, a more action-packed, wilder fighter. This fight, he was much more reserved. He was very, very tactical. There were times when he was wild. He was reaching in with his shots, but for the most part, he was very tactical. And the angles he was cutting to come down on Bivol, really, even in the final seconds of the fight, where you saw Pascal really putting his all in on Bivol, it was really incredible how he backed Bivol up into a corner. And what a lot of people don't realize is, I wish he had done that to Sergey Kovalev, fought him on the inside and just beat him up on the inside. But I guess, again, Pascal was trying to dope Kovalev on the inside and then land his punches. The problem with Pascal is he reaches in when he's coming in, so you could catch him that way. But I was impressed with his performance. His performance was very controlled for Pascal, Pascal. He wasn't wild and crazy. He was using good defense. He was rolling punches both ways and stuff. Showed a lot of skill in there. Now, Dimitry Bivol, just based on activity, won that fight. So Pascal won probably 2 rounds out of the whole entire fight. But that was not his strategy. His strategy was try to get Bivol out of there, I think. And he worked the body pretty good later, especially later on in the fight. He was trying to walk down Bivol later on in the fight and succeeded at doing that. And he was really trying to take the momentum of the fight was actually going in his favor very slowly. Unfortunately for him, he only figured it out later on in the fight what to do with Bivol. He was trying different things, different approaches to Bivol. Tried walking him down, tried using the high guard walking to him. He started now using lateral movement as he was walking to him. But he keeps on lunging with certain shots where you don't need to lunge. You just need to time. And then as soon as Bivol throws a jab, you slip the jab and you go at it. But I think Pascal doesn't have that in his repertoire. So he had to use explosiveness to try to get to the inside instead of slipping and using a certain angle to get in on your opponent and then landing punches. Like the little guy, the 5'6" guy I told you guys about in the last video. Nonetheless, he was very effective against Bivol. He was landing some good body, solid body shots. Wasn't tired and fatigued as I expected him to be. Kind of let it up in the 11th round. And the 12th round, I think he took the 12th round. So as much as I say 10 and 11 definitely was, 9 and 10 definitely were his rounds. You could argue that he won the 12th round. But be that as it may, I thought it was a very intriguing match because it was chess. And there was a lot of feinting going on before the guys would come in on each other. And Bivol realized this guy was no joke. He was setting a trap for him to take him out. Pascal was trying to knock out Bivol through the entire fight. And so that's why some of his punches were forced, and it was just with a lot of force and power, which can take a lot of energy out of you. But by and large, I enjoyed it. Bivol got Pascal in some trouble. He got caught him with a couple hard punches. I think it was one of the middle rounds, and Pascal had to clinch up. Again, very intelligently, you clinch up on your opponent, take the risk. And there was a certain point in the fight where there was a delay because Pascal's gloves wasn't perfectly tied. So that gave the veteran some momentum. People are angry because Bivol didn't knock out Pascal, and of course the commenters were so biased that it would make you think that Pascal's going to get knocked out any minute, which was not the case ever in this fight. That was never going to happen. So once again, the biasness of reporting. And I want to comment on some other things I saw. Jim Lampley talking about HBO, and he definitely tried to badmouth PBC, and what PBC is doing. It's so sad. Um, HBO is going out of business when it comes to boxing. And he only had negative things to say about the PBC and about Al Heyman's fighters and about Al Heyman. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, half the things he's saying is not true. And then the other thing is, the reason why HBO is going out of business is because of their biasness. Why don't you just, leave that alone? And Showtime's doing very well. Again, Al Heyman's people. The Zone has Al Heyman's people. One of Al Heyman's fighters about to fight Terrence Crawford on ESPN. So at the end of the day, you can say how much you want that Al Heyman doesn't make the fights that happen and so on. Al Heyman made so many great fights so far. And he looks like he's going to make some more great fights. Game. Talk about how the elite welterweights are not fighting one another. When Danny Garcia fought Sean Porter very recently. Sean Porter fought Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman fought Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter. Errol Spence fought Lamont Peterson. The creme de la creme is there. Mikey Garcia is about to fight Errol Spence. I mean, what do you want? Wilder's about to fight Fury. And I could just go on and on and on and on and on. So what are you really saying? And that's the kind of thing that Jim Lampley and these guys do. They spread a bunch of lies. So I'm happy HBO's out of business. I hope they just disappear into the sunset and we never see them again. And Jim Lampley, I just don't want to see him and Larry Merchant ever again. They just did the sport of boxing a great disservice pushing their racist agenda. So please leave the sport of boxing and don't ever talk again. When we're looking at some other recent news that I thought was interesting is that I was listening to, I can't remember which channel it was. I think it's Fight Camp. And Fight Camps basically said the same thing I was saying all along, which is that GGG, his jab was ineffective. Basically, he was trying to use it as a defensive jab, not for Canelo not to get to him, but obviously Canelo got to him. So therefore, his jab was not effective. What people forget in boxing is when you're scoring a fight, it's about effective. Everything has to be effective. So if a guy is jabbing to keep you off of him, but you're standing up on him, then his jab isn't effective. And that's what GGG tried to do. The same thing he did to Lemieux and Curtis Stevenson, he tried to do with Canelo. It just didn't work. Okay? So that's why his jab was ineffective. Yes, it touched Canelo at times, but it didn't accomplish what it was supposed to accomplish, which was keep Canelo off of him. I keep on telling you guys that. So it was nice to see Fight Camp validating what I was saying all along. And again, when it comes to boxing, you got to understand what you're watching at in that ring. I think a lot of you don't know what you're watching when you're looking at that in the ring. And so it is what it is. Anyway, this is my stream right here. You guys can always leave any comments you want to leave. I'll leave your chats in the chat section. I, on the other hand, I'm going to go in my bed and sleep now. But I thought I'll just share this with you guys. And don't forget, that God is always good. Let him lead and direct your life. Roman Gonzalez, he was injured, so he's not going to be performing on HBO's last set of boxing with Cecilia Brækhus being featured. And Michael Hunter, he knocked out Ustinov, so that's kind of cool. Jose Pedraza, he sparred Jesse Magdaleno as he's preparing for Lomachenko. So Jesse and Diego Magdaleno, he was sparring. That's good stuff. Over the weekend, we also had Lebedev who beat Wilson in the cruiserweight division. So that's cool. Eddie Hearn was speculating about who Alexander Usyk could face next. He was thinking of, I hope he never does that, Jamel Miller. Jamel Miller will, Big Baby will destroy him. Dillian White's a good one. Chizora's a good one. Konaki, I don't know who that is. And Luis Ortiz. Don't put him near Luis Ortiz either. So, his best bet is Dillian White or Derek Chisora. That's his best bet. And those are good names. Fury. Tyson Fury says, I'll humiliate Wilder more than Klitschko. Take his heart. And that's basically it. That's all I got for boxing for now. If you guys got any questions, leave your comments or questions right in the chat section. If you got nothing else you want to say to me, please, guys, I got to go and get my bed and get some rest. So I'll catch you guys later. Ciao. Deuces.